Most people work their whole lives for a salary, yet never learn how to own it. They think earning more will solve their problems. But I've met people making $10,000 a month and still broke, and others making $2,000 and financially free. The difference? One spends to feel rich, the other manages to become rich. The truth is, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep, multiply, and master. Your salary is not a reward, it's a responsibility. And if you don't learn to turn income into assets, you'll spend 40 years chasing what the top 1% built while they slept. Let me ask you a question. What's the first thing most people do when they get a raise? They buy a better car, move into a bigger house, eat at fancier restaurants, and within 6 months they're broke at a higher level. You see, money doesn't change your habits, it amplifies them. If you were careless with a little, you'll be careless with a lot. The top 1% don't chase lifestyle, they chase leverage. They turn paychecks into power, salaries into systems, and comfort into capital. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to outgrow the need to look rich. Most people treat their salary like a roof, not a foundation. But the truth is, your paycheck is not the prize, it's the potential. It's not the destination, it's the seed. I learned this lesson early in my life when I thought getting paid was the goal. I used to say, if only I made more, everything would change. But then I met a wise man who said, it's not what you get that makes you rich, it's what you do with what you get. That changed everything. Because if you can't manage a small salary wisely, you'll mismanage a big one just the same. Think of your salary as fertile soil. If you plant the right seeds in it, nurture them, protect them, and stay patient, that little soil can feed your dreams for a lifetime. But most people spend their seed instead of planting it. They eat it up in clothes, gadgets, and momentary pleasures, and then wonder why there's nothing left to grow. Wealthy people, on the other hand, see income as capital, a resource meant to multiply. They don't celebrate payday by spending more, they celebrate by planting more. Every dollar they earn is given a job, and the best jobs are the ones that create more dollars. So, what should you do with your salary? First, pay yourself before you pay anyone else. Save at least 10% before spending a cent. That simple rule, if practiced faithfully, can change your entire financial life. Second, invest part of your income into building skills or assets that grow over time, something that works even when you're not working. It could be a course, a tool, a business, or an investment account. The goal is to turn a portion of what you earn into something that earns for you. And third, review your finances every month. Don't live in financial mystery. Know where your money goes, because direction is the difference between wandering and winning. When I started managing my salary like a seed instead of a ceiling, everything began to shift. I stopped asking, how much am I getting paid? And started asking, what am I building with what I have? That question made me creative, disciplined, and ultimately free. Because freedom doesn't come from the size of your paycheck, it comes from how you plant it, protect it, and grow it. So the next time you get paid, don't think of it as the end of your work, think of it as the beginning of your wealth. Your salary was never meant to sustain you forever. It was meant to start something bigger. Plant wisely, nurture patiently, and soon you'll harvest not just income, but independence. One of the most dangerous traps in the world of money is what I call the illusion of wealth. It's when people start earning more and immediately believe they've become more. The first raise, the first promotion, the first bonus, and suddenly there's a new car, a better phone, a fancier dinner, and a louder lifestyle. But here's the truth. If your lifestyle grows faster than your wisdom, you're heading straight for financial trouble. Don't buy more until you become more. Because possessions don't create prosperity. Discipline does. When I was young and broke, I used to look at successful people and think, if only I could dress like that, drive like that, live like that, I'd finally feel successful. But one day, my mentor said, don't mistake the trappings of success for the truth of success. That hit me hard. He said, real wealth is quiet. It's not shouting through gold watches and shiny shoes. Real wealth whispers through confidence, security, and freedom. I realized then that many people go broke trying to look rich, while the truly rich often look average, while quietly building empires. The secret is to upgrade your habits before you upgrade your wardrobe. When you earn more, don't immediately expand your spending, expand your capacity to manage. Every time you get a raise, take half and invest it, and let the other half improve your lifestyle modestly. This way, your comfort grows, but your capital grows faster. Avoid the trap of impulse upgrades. Before making a big purchase, give it 72 hours. That pause gives you space to separate want from wisdom. And track every expense, because what you measure you can master. Most people don't have a money problem, they have a management problem. Awareness alone brings power. I remember a friend of mine who doubled his income within a year. You'd think that would bring peace. But instead, he was more stressed than ever. Why? Because his expenses doubled too. He was earning more, but living the same cycle of paycheck to paycheck, just on a grander scale. On the other hand, I've seen people of modest income grow rich because they controlled their lifestyle. They let their habits compound, not their liabilities. So before you buy something new, ask yourself, is this purchase building my future or just decorating my present? Because the truth is, luxury should come from results, not relief. Let your wealth be your foundation, not your fashion. Build quietly, live wisely, and remember, you can't grow your bank account and your ego at the same time. Control your lifestyle before your lifestyle controls you, and soon you'll find yourself not just looking successful, but living free. Let me tell you something most people never learn. Wealth doesn't come from earning more, it comes from organizing what you earn. The average person works for money, then wonders where it all went. The wealthy, on the other hand, tell their money exactly where to go before it ever leaves their hands. They don't let their dollars wander aimlessly. They give every one of them a job, a mission, and a purpose. Because discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, and when it comes to money, discipline must come before desire. I learned this lesson the hard way. There was a time when my income was small, and I thought, what's the point of dividing it? It's barely enough as it is. But my mentor told me, if you can't manage $1, you'll never manage $1 million. That changed everything. From that day on, I began dividing my money like the wealthy divide their empires, intentionally, strategically, and with respect for every cent. Here's the simple rule I live by. 70% for living, 10% for saving, 10% for investing, and 10% for giving. The 70% keeps life running, your necessities, your daily comfort. But the other 30%, that's what builds your future. Saving gives you security, investing gives you growth, and giving gives you purpose. This formula isn't about restriction, it's about control. It's a way to command your money instead of being commanded by it. Automation makes this discipline effortless. Don't leave your good intentions at the mercy of willpower. The wealthy don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. Automate your transfers, send savings and investments to their accounts before you ever touch the rest. That way, The decision is made once and executed forever. It's like hiring your own discipline to work for you every month. And every few months, review your allocations. As you grow, your plan should grow too. Maybe 70% becomes 60% as your income rises and your assets start working for you. That's how the wealthy think. Not just in terms of earning, but in terms of adjusting and optimizing. I remember when I first started doing this, it felt small. The savings were barely noticeable. The investment seemed insignificant. But over time, those small, consistent allocations began to multiply. The system worked because I worked the system. And that's the secret. Wealth is built not by grand gestures, but by small disciplines, practiced without fail. So, the next time you receive your salary, don't just spend it, command it, divide it, like a leader dividing resources among soldiers, each with a mission to accomplish. When your money knows where to go, it will start bringing reinforcements back. Wealth isn't luck, it's leadership. And it starts by leading your income with purpose. When I was a young man working long hours just to get by, I thought a steady paycheck was the ultimate goal. A good job, a regular income, a little security, that's what I thought success was. But one day, I realized something that changed everything. My job was feeding me, but it wasn't freeing me. A paycheck can keep you alive, but it can never make you rich. Because as long as you depend on active income, the kind you have to show up for every day, your freedom belongs to someone else's schedule. True wealth begins the moment you start converting your active income into passive power. Your job is important, don't misunderstand me. It provides structure, discipline, and capital. But you can't let it be the end of your story. It's only the beginning. You work full-time on your job, yes, but you must work part-time on your fortune. The wealthy understand this. They use the income from their labor to buy or build assets that keep earning even when they're asleep. They turn sweat into systems, effort into equity, time into timeless rewards. That's the difference between working for money and letting money work for you. Start small. Take 5-10% of your income and use it to create something that can grow on its own. A side business, a digital product, an investment portfolio, a small piece of real estate, even a skill you can later monetize. Don't think of it as an expense. Think of it as planting a seed. In the beginning, it might only cover one small bill. Maybe your phone, your groceries, or your rent. But once that passive income pays for one thing, aim for it to cover another and another. Soon you'll notice a powerful shift. You're no longer working just to live. Your money is living to work for you. The key is to reinvest your profits, not reward yourself too early. Most people kill their momentum by celebrating too soon. When the first bit of success arrives, they spend it instead of multiplying it. But the wealthy reinvest. They know that small streams, when redirected wisely, can form mighty rivers. Each reinvested dollar becomes another worker in your financial army marching towards your freedom. I've met people who earned little but became financially independent because they learned this one discipline. They built small businesses while working regular jobs. They didn't quit early. They didn't gamble. They built patiently. And one day, they woke up to realize that their passive power had replaced their paycheck entirely. So, don't just work for income, work to build independence. Let your job fund your fortune. Let every dollar from your effort be transformed into something that lasts longer than your energy. Because the day your money starts working harder than you do, that's the day you finally become free. There's a big difference between saving to feel safe and saving to create opportunity. Most people save because they're afraid. Afraid of losing their job, afraid of unexpected expenses, afraid of the future. But fear-based saving doesn't build wealth, it builds stagnation. Your savings are not meant to hide, they're meant to move. They're not a fortress to live behind forever, they're a foundation to build upon. Safety is important, yes, but safety without growth becomes a slow decline. Inflation eats away at idle money like rust on iron. When I was young and broke, I started saving every dollar I could. I felt proud, it gave me a sense of control. But after a while, I realized my savings weren't growing. They were just waiting. I was saving to survive, not to succeed. My mentor once told me, it's not enough to put money aside. You have to give it a job to work, to grow, to multiply. That was the turning point. I stopped seeing savings as an end goal and started seeing it as fuel for opportunity. Here's the right approach. First, build your safety net, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, tucked away where it's easily accessible. That's your peace of mind, your buffer against life's surprises. Once that's in place, shift your focus. Every dollar you save beyond that should be assigned to grow. Learn where to plant it. Low-risk investments, index funds, bonds, or even your own education and skill building. Compounding is the quiet miracle that turns small, consistent decisions into large, lasting results. But beware of letting fear freeze your money's potential. Many people are so afraid of losing that they never win. They hoard their cash in savings accounts that barely outpace inflation, telling themselves it's safer, but in truth it's just slower. The wealthy understand that risk, managed wisely, is necessary for reward. They study, they plan, and then they move. They don't gamble, they grow. The purpose of saving isn't to build a pile of money, it's to build momentum. Every dollar you save should be preparing to step into a higher role. Think of your savings as apprentices training to become investors. Keep them idle too long and they forget how to work. I remember the first time I invested my savings, it wasn't a fortune, but it felt like a leap of faith. That decision changed my relationship with money forever. Because the moment your money starts working for you, you stop working only for money. So save smart, not scared. Build your foundation, then plant seeds of growth. Safety is good, but growth is freedom. And freedom, not fear, is what money is meant to buy. There comes a time in every person's life when they must ask themselves a powerful question. Will I always be the one doing the work, or will I ever own something that works for me? Most people never make that shift. They spend their entire lives trading time for money, thinking labor alone will lead to wealth. But labor, no matter how honest or hard, has limits, hours in a day, strength in a body, years in a life. The truly wealthy learn to break that limit by building assets that outwork them. Because money doesn't sleep, it doesn't take weekends off, and it never asks for a raise. If you guide it wisely, it can work harder than you ever could. When I started out, I thought the only way to get ahead was to work longer hours, pick up extra shifts, say yes to everything. But my mentor pulled me aside one day and said, I realized then that true freedom doesn't come from more effort, it comes from ownership. It's not about working harder, it's about making what you own work harder. So, what kind of assets are we talking about? Not the kind that just shine, but the kind that pay. A car, for example, looks impressive but drains your wallet. That's a liability. A small piece of real estate that brings rent every month, now that's an asset. Dividend-paying stocks, index funds, digital products, a small business, even intellectual property, these are tools that keep producing long after your hands are done working. Start small if you must. Buy a share of an index fund. Take a modest stake in a rental partnership. Invest in a small side venture that solves a problem. It doesn't have to be grand. It has to be consistent. Track how much income these assets produce each month, even if it's just a few dollars at first. Seeing your money begin to work for you will change your mindset forever. And once you earn your first return, don't rush to spend it. Reinvest it. Let the returns compound until they become a steady stream and one day a river. The goal is to replace effort with equity. Every dollar you earn from an asset is a soldier on your financial battlefield, fighting for your freedom. You can't clone yourself, but you can multiply your value through ownership. Imagine a day when your assets cover your bills, fund your travels, and protect your family, all while you sleep. That's not fantasy. That's discipline and strategy compounded over time. So stop working only for money. Start working to build things that will one day work for you. Because wealth isn't measured by how much you earn, it's measured by how long your money keeps earning after you stop. Let your money outwork you, and one day it will outlive you. Debt is a tool, not a toy. Yet so many people treat it as a magic wand, thinking borrowing alone will make them rich, or worse, as a cushion to spend beyond their means. I've seen it countless times. Someone takes on a loan for a car, a vacation, or the latest gadget, and suddenly they are enslaved to the very thing they thought would bring comfort. Debt, in this sense, is like fire. It can warm you and cook your dinner, or it can burn your house down. The difference lies in understanding, respect, and careful control. When I first started, I didn't know how to use debt wisely. I took a small loan to start a business, thinking that simply having money would solve all problems. But without strategy, it was a heavy burden. I learned quickly, the money itself isn't dangerous, ignorance is. Debt must always have a purpose bigger than its cost. It should create value, multiply income, or build assets, not just satisfy short-term wants. That's why distinguishing good debt from bad debt is critical. Good debt buys assets that return more than the interest you pay. Bad debt buys liabilities that drain your income. The wealthy don't fear debt. They fear debt without purpose. The practical side is simple but disciplined. First, eliminate high-interest obligations immediately. Credit cards, payday loans, and frivolous borrowing are change you don't need. Next, if you decide to borrow, calculate the expected return. Will this loan generate more income or equity than it costs you in interest and risk? If the answer isn't a confident yes, walk away. And remember, borrowing is not a substitute for planning. Only use it when it amplifies your capacity, not when it simply fills a hole in your wallet. I remember helping a young entrepreneur who wanted a large business loan for inventory he hoped would sell quickly. Instead of rushing, we broke it down. We looked at cash flow, margins, and risk. The loan became a calculated tool, not a gamble. Within months, the asset generated returns that not only paid the loan, but funded expansion. That's how fire should be used. Controlled, intentional, and for growth. Debt, when treated with respect and strategy, becomes a lever, a way to lift yourself higher than your income alone allows. When treated carelessly, it becomes a trap that consumes your time, energy, and freedom. So always remember, borrow for opportunity, not comfort, and let your financial fire cook, not destroy. Tracking your money isn't just about seeing how much you have left at the end of the month. Too many people treat their finances like a dream they hope will come true, rather than a business they actively run. I've learned over the years that wealth doesn't grow from wishes, it grows from measured, deliberate action. If you want your salary, your savings, and your investments to work for you, you must treat them as if they were a company with goals, budgets, and performance reports. I remember when I first started taking my finances seriously. I sat down with a notebook and began recording every dollar that came in and every dollar that went out. At first, it was tedious. I didn't want to see how much I wasted on small, unconscious expenses. But gradually, something remarkable happened. Awareness gave me power. Suddenly, I could see patterns. I saw where money was leaving my life, where it was growing, and where it could grow faster. Each number became a signal, a small opportunity to adjust, optimize, and improve. Running your finances like a business requires systems. Keep a money journal or spreadsheet that tracks income, expenses, and investments. Break your spending into categories: living costs, savings, investments, and giving. Review these numbers monthly, just as a company reviews its financial statements. Don't just glance at them, interrogate them. Ask, did this expense add value? Did this investment perform as expected? What can I improve next month? Treat every transaction as a decision, not a random event. Progress must also be celebrated. Small wins sustain motivation. When you successfully stick to a budget, pay off debt, or see your investments grow, acknowledge it. Wealth is a long game. And consistent reinforcement builds the discipline needed to keep going. I recall when I first hit a consistent monthly savings goal, it wasn't a fortune, but it felt like a victory. That feeling reinforced my habits and encouraged me to aim higher. In the end, tracking your progress transforms financial chaos into control. It turns hope into strategy and dream into execution. Wealth doesn't appear overnight, but with meticulous measurement, constant review, and small, celebrated victories, your money begins to grow systematically. Treat your finances like a business, and your life like the profitable enterprise it can become. Every dollar you spend carries a story, a choice, and a consequence. Too many people let impulses and emotions dictate where their money goes, and that's how a salary that could create freedom ends up vanishing before the month is over. I've seen it time and time again. Someone earns a solid paycheck, yet by the end of the month they have nothing to show for it. The problem isn't income, it's the lack of purpose behind each expenditure. The wealthy understand that money follows intention. Every purchase should be a tool that either grows your life, your skills, or your assets. Otherwise, it's simply a leak. I remember early in my career, I would occasionally make purchases because they felt good. A fancy tie, a new gadget, a night out with friends. Nothing wrong with enjoying life, but I noticed a pattern. Every impulsive purchase delayed my goals. I realized that if I wanted to build wealth, I had to put purpose at the center of every financial decision. That meant asking a simple but powerful question before spending. Will this make me richer or wiser? And if the answer wasn't yes, I didn't buy it. Purpose-driven spending isn't about denying yourself enjoyment. It's about prioritizing growth. Each dollar you save or invest becomes a soldier working for your future. If you spend money on things that elevate your knowledge, expand your capacity, or generate income, you are turning every expense into an opportunity. Even small amounts, when spent intentionally, compound over time into significant progress. I remember putting aside a few dollars each month for books, courses, and mentorship. That small investment multiplied my abilities and, ultimately, my income. Replace emotional spending with deliberate action. Delay gratification until the purchase aligns with your goals. Learn to differentiate between fleeting wants and strategic needs. Track your purchases, ask yourself why you're buying, and ensure each decision contributes to your long-term vision. Over time, this habit creates clarity, discipline, and freedom. In the end, letting purpose drive every purchase transforms money from a fleeting resource into a tool for building a life of wealth, wisdom, and freedom. When your spending reflects your goals, your salary begins to serve you rather than control you. Every purchase can either take you closer to independence or push you further from it. Choose wisely. Many people believe that wealth comes from earning more, but I've learned that real financial freedom begins when you earn less than you could spend, not more. The temptation to match your lifestyle to your income is everywhere. Raises, bonuses, even small windfalls often vanish in a month because the spending keeps pace with the earnings. This is the trap most fall into, living at their potential rather than below it. True wealth isn't about showing off what you can buy. It's about controlling what you can keep and grow. I remember when I first started earning more than I had before. The natural instinct was to upgrade my car, my clothes, and my entertainment. I realized quickly that this pattern only postponed my dreams of financial independence. I had to learn to live below my potential, to embrace simplicity, and to direct the difference into growth. That difference, the part of income not spent on fleeting pleasures, becomes your capital, your leverage, and your freedom. The strategy is simple, but not always easy. Keep your fixed costs around 60 to 70% of what you earn. Don't inflate your lifestyle just because you can. Every dollar you save beyond that is fuel for investment. That money, when consistently allocated to assets, investments, or education, begins to work for you in ways a paycheck alone never could. Over time, compounding turns these small disciplined choices into a life-changing sum. Contentment is your ally. When you are satisfied with enough, you free yourself from the trap of comparison, envy, and reckless spending. Living below your potential doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means prioritizing what truly matters, investing in your future. I remember choosing to defer luxuries for years, putting aside funds into investments and self-education. Those dollars eventually became my stepping stones to financial independence and opened doors I couldn't have imagined if I had spent them chasing temporary satisfaction. Discipline in this area builds confidence, clarity, and control. You learn that wealth is not a result of luck or a paycheck, but of intention and habit. When you invest the part of your income that others spend, you begin to create freedom that compounds over time. So start today. Live below your potential, invest the difference boldly, and watch your wealth grow quietly but powerfully. Your future self will thank you. Every time you receive a paycheck, it's easy to think of it as just money to cover bills or maybe a treat for yourself. But I've learned that each paycheck is far more than that. It's raw material, a blueprint, a tool to design the life you want. Most people spend first and think later. That's why so many feel trapped. They're working hard, yet their bank account never seems to grow. The paycheck should never be your finish line. It's your starting point, the foundation of freedom. I remember my early days when I started thinking differently. I took my first real paycheck and asked myself, what is this going to do for me beyond today? Instead of spending it on clothes or dining out, I allocated portions to savings, investments, and a small education fund. At first, it was uncomfortable. I wanted to buy things that would impress others or make life easier instantly. But as I practiced naming a purpose for every dollar, I realized my money was now working for me, not against me. That's the key. Your paycheck is not just income. It's a plan, a strategy, a set of bricks. The strategy is simple yet transformative. Before you spend a dime, Name a goal for that paycheck. Maybe it's paying off a high-interest debt, investing in a dividend stock, funding a skill-building course, or growing a side business. When you do this consistently, your income becomes intentional, not accidental. Direct your money into long-term priorities first, essentials second, pleasures last. By putting structure around your spending, you remove the randomness that keeps most people in financial struggle. Building this habit requires discipline, but it also builds freedom. Treat your paycheck as a blueprint. Each payment is a chance to move closer to independence. Automate what you can. Savings, investments, and recurring goals, so that structure replaces spontaneity. Over time, each paycheck compounds into opportunity, creating a life where money serves you, not the other way around. So start with your next paycheck. Decide its purpose before it touches your hand. Direct it towards your freedom, your growth, your goals. Make each payment a brick in the foundation of your future. Every paycheck is a choice. Let it be a choice that builds the life you truly want. I want you to think about the difference between a consumer and a producer. Most people spend their money to survive, to buy the next gadget, pay the bills, or catch up with the latest trends. That's the consumer mindset. But the producer, the one who builds real wealth, thinks differently. The producer uses money to create opportunities, to own systems, to make something that earns even when they're not working. The key is simple. Don't spend all your money buying products. Spend some of it learning how to sell them, how to turn ideas into income, how to convert time and effort into lasting results. I remember when I first realized this. I was working a regular job, earning a paycheck like everyone else, and most of it disappeared into immediate expenses and little pleasures. Then I asked myself, what if I could use part of this money to produce value instead of just consume it? That thought changed everything. I started with a small project, a course, a workshop, something that required more effort than money. I reinvested any small profits back into learning how to market, how to reach people, and how to scale my effort. The moment I shifted from consuming to producing, my money and my time started working together. The strategy is clear. Start small, a micro business, a digital product, or a side service. Learn basic sales and marketing skills, because even the best idea is worthless if no one knows about it. Use your consumption wisely. Let it inspire creation rather than distract from it. Every book you buy, every seminar you attend, every resource you invest in should have one goal: to turn knowledge, effort, and money into production, into value that others are willing to pay for. This mindset shift isn't just financial, it's psychological. When you see yourself as a producer, every dollar, every hour, every skill becomes a tool for building. Consumption becomes intentional. Leisure becomes a learning opportunity. Work becomes a creative act. You stop trading time for money in a reactive way and start commanding your income to build systems that multiply it. So today, I challenge you, stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a producer. Spend some money learning to create, to sell, to build. Start small. Act consistently. And watch how producing transforms not just your finances, but your entire life. Your wealth is waiting on the other side of production. Go get it. Think of money as a language. If you don't understand it, it will always confuse you, control you, and leave you frustrated. Most people stumble through life trying to earn and spend without really knowing the rules. But wealth begins in understanding. Once you speak the language of money fluently, it stops being intimidating and it starts working for you. You can negotiate, invest, and grow confidently instead of reacting blindly. I remember when I first treated money as something I had to figure out. I was earning, spending, and saving blindly, but the results never matched the effort. Then I decided to study money systematically. I read books on investing, taxation, and business. I dissected how interest worked, how compounding could be my greatest ally, and how debt could either enslave or empower me. The more I learned, the more control I had. Suddenly, a paycheck wasn't just a number, it was a set of options, a resource with direction, a tool to build freedom. The strategy is simple but requires commitment. Begin by choosing one financial concept each week and learning it fully. Understand the difference between assets and liabilities, how investments generate passive income, and the principles of compounding. Study your country's tax system, not to evade, but to optimize. Knowledge is leverage. The more you understand, the better decisions you make, and the faster your wealth grows. Practical tools help solidify your learning. Keep a financial journal, like a personal glossary, where you define terms, jot examples, and track lessons. Record concepts like dividends, capital gains, depreciation, or tax deductions. Over time, your journal becomes a reference, a map of understanding that guides every financial move. The psychological impact is profound. Once you understand money, fear and confusion give way to confidence and creativity. You start spotting opportunities others miss, recognizing pitfalls before they trap you, and designing systems where your money works while you sleep. You move from living paycheck to paycheck to living purposefully with financial clarity. So take the time to study money like it's a language. Speak it fluently. Learn, apply, and record everything. Because the richer your understanding, the richer your life becomes. Knowledge isn't just power in finance. It is wealth itself. Now, let me leave you with this thought. Wealth is not a distant dream reserved for the lucky, nor is it a secret hidden in some vault that only a few can access. Wealth is the natural result of discipline, knowledge, and consistent action. It begins in your mind, flows through your habits, and manifests in your life as opportunities, freedom, and choices. What separates those who struggle from those who thrive is not talent or luck, but the decisions they make every single day about money, time, and growth. You see, too many people wait for the perfect job, the perfect raise, or the perfect investment. They wait for a windfall, an inheritance, or a market miracle. But life rarely works that way. Real wealth starts where you are, with what you have, no matter how small. Your salary, your skills, your network, and your time are all tools you already own. The question is, will you use them, or will they use you? Will you let your paycheck dictate your life, or will you make it a seed that grows into freedom and opportunity? Every dollar you earn is not simply for spending. It is a building block, a worker, a soldier in your army of wealth. When you learn to assign purpose to every cent, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. Intentionality is the hallmark of the 1%. They don't simply earn, they plan, allocate, and build. They invest in themselves first, because no amount of external money can replace internal growth. Knowledge compounds faster than money. Skills compound faster than salary. And mindset compounds faster than any external condition. Your first job is not to make money. It is to grow into someone worthy of wealth. If you invest in yourself, your mind, your habits, and your capacity, the money will follow naturally, almost as a byproduct. The second principle is patience. Wealth is never created overnight. Anyone chasing a shortcut is courting disappointment. The person who invests, learns, saves, and applies consistently over time is the one who reaps the rewards. Compounding is silent, invisible, and often frustrating in its slowness, but it is relentless. The earlier you start, the more powerful the results. Let your money work for you, let your knowledge work for you, and let your habits work for you every day, without exception. Third, understand that money is a tool, not a goal. It is meant to produce freedom, options, and influence. If you spend without purpose, you become a slave to lifestyle and impulses. But if you spend and invest with intention, every paycheck, every bonus, every extra dollar becomes a seed that grows into assets, businesses, investments, real estate, or even intellectual property. Don't work for money, make money work for you. Turn your income into capital, your savings into investment, and your knowledge into leverage. Fourth, generosity and contribution matter. Wealth is not measured solely by what you keep, but also by what you give. Share your knowledge, mentor others, and invest in causes that multiply value. The more value you provide to others, the more opportunities and prosperity return to you. Money is a tool of influence. It grows faster when it flows through networks, ideas, and people. Teach what you learn, show others the path, and watch how abundance multiplies. Finally, the most important step you can take is action. All the books, all the plans, and all the strategies mean nothing until you move. Start today, track your money, automate savings, invest in yourself, start a small side project, learn one financial concept, mentor someone. Write down your goals. Each day, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the foundation of your future wealth. Momentum grows from consistency. Discipline compounds into freedom. And patience allows results to accumulate quietly, steadily, and powerfully. So here is my challenge to you. Don't wait for luck, don't wait for more income, and don't wait for permission. Take control of your salary, your habits, and your life. Treat every dollar as a worker, every lesson as a seed, and every decision as an investment in your future. Build assets before comfort, knowledge before consumption, and systems that work while you sleep. Track your progress, celebrate small victories, and never stop learning. The path of wealth is simple, but it is not easy. It requires effort, focus, and courage. But I promise you this, if you start today, if you apply these principles consistently, your life will change. Not by accident, not by luck, but by design. The future you want, financial freedom, options, security, and impact, is waiting for the choices you make right now. So begin. Take that first step. Plant the first seed. Make your salary the foundation of your fortune. The sooner you act, the sooner your life will reflect the wealth that has been waiting within you all along.